we will start here just as soon as possible. And actually, I will call the meeting to order officially. And what we do is we have folks who have called ahead of time and signed up, and we welcome them up to speak. And it looks like based on the number of people that we have, it'll be about 5 or 6 minutes for each person is all we're going to have. And it's going to be a matter of say what you need to say or would like to say. And don't be surprised if there's a conversation. If any of the council members ask a question or look for more clarification or anything else. So it's more of a conversation, a lot less formal than it is downstairs. The names that I have signed up for the listening session in this order, Teo Savanich. All right, we're down one already.
Oh, sorry, here.
Teo, oh, that's you?
Yes.
Oh, okay, we got Teo. Conrad Friedman. There you go. Welcome, Conrad. Sharon Scharf. Hi, Sharon. Matthew Hallert. Hi, Matthew. How are you? And Suzanne Boston. Perfect. So why don't we get started? Why don't we start with Dale and we'll get going. And what I'm going to ask you to do is sign in after you're done speaking so we don't spend time on that. Then ask as you sit down there, get up close and personal with the microphone so we can make sure we pick it up, okay? And the microphone is on, correct? Yeah, okay. Just making sure. There it is. Thank you. Good evening. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Bloomington is the only city in the metropolitan area that doesn't employ AI-powered automatic license plate readers. I want to keep it that way. Automatic license plate readers, especially those from the company Flock Safety, compromise everyone's privacy and safety to an extreme extent while providing little benefit to the public in terms of stopping crime. Automatic license plate readers like those from Flock Safety work not only by detecting license plates, but also details on vehicles like make and model, color, damage, and even aftermarket modifications. In addition, the cameras connect to a citywide gunshot detection system. They can also be used to alert cops of domestic disturbances by detecting screams. Data from cameras can be queried to monitor the location of a vehicle with a given license plate or certain details. In addition, cameras can be connected to a nationwide network called Flock Nova, in which law enforcement can search tens of thousands of cameras across the country. This sounds great in theory, but Flock Safety's implementation presents several issues. For one, there isn't any actual evidence that automatic license plate readers actually decrease crime. The only 2 studies that did find an association were funded by Flock themselves. Flock claims that their cameras can't be abused by officers or used for immigration enforcement, but both of these claims can be refuted. There have been numerous cases of officers using Flock Safety's cameras to stalk previous partners. The way Flock's database works is each officer uses a username and password to log in, but 2-factor authentication isn't required. This means that officers can provide their login credentials to immigration enforcement officers, which there have been numerous reported cases of. The lack of 2-factor authentication also means that it's much easier to steal accounts. A Russian forum was found that selling stolen Flock Nova logins, allowing the buyer to access a veritable treasure trove of information that can be used to track and stalk citizens. Flock cameras also aren't very secure. A teardown of the latest model Flock camera found that it was essentially a smartphone running Android 8, which stopped receiving essential security updates in 2021. Android 8 also has more than 900 known vulnerabilities. Apart from the security of the operating system, a paper found a total of 47 major security vulnerabilities with Flock cameras, including the fact that cameras don't have sufficient radio frequency shielding, and with basic radio equipment, anyone can see exactly what the camera is thinking and seeing. Flock says that officers must provide a reason with a search on Flock's system. However, the reason is pretty much just typed into a text box. Chapter 13 of Minnesota statutes declares that citizens may request certain pieces of information from Minnesota departments. I requested all the data from this year from the Edina Police Department, which makes use of dozens of Flock cameras, and I received monthly audits, reports, and search logs. Looking through the data, I found a request from September with the reason suspicious, with nearly 1,500 cameras searched. I also found a request from the Canadian Police with no stated reason. This shows that in practice, the system doesn't actually meaningfully enforce the requirement to use the system for legitimate purposes. Overall, I urge you to maintain Bloomington's position on privacy, security, and justice by not purchasing Flock cameras.
Well, thank you. If I could ask, what is your interest in Flock cameras? Where did you develop your interest and your concern about the camera system?
There's been sort of an online movement lately as cities have adopted them over the past several years, especially over the past year, with people citing concerns online about their privacy and security.
Council, any questions, additional comments on this?
Takes a second. Yep.
Am I there? There we go. I would just, I don't think that we currently have anything in the upcoming budget item for the police to be doing any purchases. So I want to just check that first off to just make sure that you know that I don't think we have any 2026 budget item for that. Can we get confirmation about that?
Off the top of my head, I can't confirm or deny because
Well,
I'm not sure.
No, I was thinking more for the manager.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. We'll check on that and
Yeah.
we'll hear more about that. And then that just means that we can get your comments to the police department so that if they do in the future, but we've been with the same, if I remember correctly, we've been with the same license plate reader company for a long time. And it's cool to watch and it's laser driven. So it's not like an automated thing other than what they have at the Mall of America, which of course is a private company. So they have what they have. Yeah. I think that's it. Okay, we'll check.
Thank you, Councilmember. Anything else, Council? Very good, Taylor. Thank you so very much. If you could remember to sign in, we greatly appreciate it.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Conrad. Thanks. Good evening, Conrad. Welcome.
Good evening. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity to address the council. I should say my name's Conrad Penniman, but I'm known as Kit. So have been all my life. No choice in the winter. So it's just the way it worked out. My top, in the grand scheme of things, I would suggest that my topic is probably pretty small, but I do think, even though it's a pet peeve of mine, I do think it is a topic that has a profound impact on the health and quality of life of this for residents of the city of Bloomington. And that is the topic of gas powered leaf blowers. I've been told by city staff that the council has previously addressed this issue. It is covered by the notice ordinance. It has to do with powered lawn, so I think there are other outdoor equipment. But I would suggest to you that the limitations there, which really are about hours of operation, are half measured at best in terms of the profound impact that these machines have. When I say it's a pet peeve, what probably triggered this is last season I was sitting in my breakfast table, walked the dogs and made my cup of coffee and mixed it through with 6 distinct borders came up and started up across the street. And of course they went at it for 2 hours. And never mind that it violated the noise ordinance. It's really broader than that. I mean, everybody's well familiar with the problem and the irritation and the nuisance of the noise. The gas powered leaf blowers produce over 100 decibels of noise, which has been likened to the sound of a jet plane taking off. The thing about a jet plane taking off is it takes off. It leaves. Whereas if you have 2, 4 leaf blowers operating across the street, they generally operate for an hour and a half to 2. So it's like having the jet plane idle in your driveway for 2 hours. And I would also suggest that there actually is a slight difference in quality of the noise because leaf blowers are notorious for the fact that they operate a very low decibel, very high decibel, but very low frequency. And that low frequency noise has the ability to penetrate walls, including like concrete blocks and everything. So in contrast, a high decibel irritating noise, a dentist drill, mosquito buzz, I mean, that drops off very, very quickly. You don't hear it 50 feet away. Whereas those leaf blowers, I mean, there's no sanctuary inside the house. So, okay, pet peeve, that's just less than half the problem, I think, because what's less known, less discussed is the profound air quality problem by these things. Most leaf blowers are 2-stroke internal combustion engines, which by definition are notoriously inefficient. And it's a technology that's existed for decades without change, really. I mean, there are 4-stroke gas powered leaf blowers, but they tend to be more expensive, not used anywhere near as much. There would be more efficient to a degree, somewhat quieter, but they also don't produce the power that a 2-stroke engine does. So what we see used are these 2-stroke leaf blowers. And so, I mean, they're so profoundly bad. I mean, the air quality problem is the kind of, I mean, they operate, you know, as you all know, it's a oil gas mixture that's used. And they're so inefficient that upwards of 30% of the fuel is not combusted in the operation of the machine. So that gets dispelled into the atmosphere along with the exhaust in the form of particulates and also aerosol droplets, and you're breathing them in. And just one study was done. There's an outfit called Edmunds, which if you ever look at the value of a car, you've seen Edmunds and Kelley Blue Book and CarMax. Well, Edmunds did a study once, and they compared the pollution output of a gas-powered leaf blower operating for half an hour, 30 minutes, against the pollution output of a Ford F-150 Raptor pickup, which if you're familiar with that is sort of top of the line Raptor, big engine, broad footprint, big. And they discovered that the pollution output by the leaf blower in that half hour exceeded that of the Raptor if it were to drive from Texas to Alaska, a journey of 3,900 miles. Now that study was done in 2011. Now the Raptor in 2011 is not the machine that it is today. I mean, it was a V8 engine with 420 horsepower. Now they operate as a V6 engine with EcoBoost, and the impact would be a lot less. So I'm asking whether the council would consider undertaking an effort to ban the use of leaf blowers and to do so from the council, so a sort of grassroots effort wouldn't be required.
Understood. We're at time here, Kate. I will tell you, we're brothers in arms on this one. I cannot stand the sound of those things. Cannot stand them. So,
Well, 100 cities in the whole county in Maryland have outlawed.
yes.
So you'd be in good.
Mhm. Well, thank you. Thanks so much. We got to get moving on. I can see somebody.
Well, is it just leaf blowers? Because, I mean, that problem of air pollution is true for all gas-powered
Yeah.
lawnmowers and all that. So are we thinking about it simply because of the noise problem of leaf blowers that they fall into the?
I don't think we haven't really framed it up. I mean, Kit did a nice job, but I think as the council, if we would consider this, we could look at a variety of different things.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at it more holistically, maybe.
Thank you. Thank you, Kit. Appreciate it.
Sure. Thank you.
Sharon.
Slippery slope. So no.
Good evening and welcome.
Thank you. Hard to hear up there. He's just my age. Anyway, I'm here to talk about the meeting I attended last week, the telephone, about the permit for cannabis facility plant on Nesbitt Avenue, 109th and Nesbitt. And there's a couple things. One is I just didn't feel like I articulated during that meeting what I was trying to learn. So I kind of come up with like 5 points. One is I'm not sure why they picked that location for something that isn't already zoned to be handled there. It seems like there should be other areas that are vacant that are set up for that kind of process. Second, just the impact on the neighborhood. They were very careful during that presentation to say that the processing, no discharge would go into the sewer and water system. What they didn't say was what their plan was to handle it. And my understanding with what I'm believing they're doing to get the CB oil from the hemp is processing, and 90% of the hemp will be discarded. So if it's, not going to the sewer water, thank goodness, where's it going? Is it going to be hauled by trash? Is it going to sit in a garbage, bin? I mean, I don't know. I just know that I know wet grass smells after a couple of days. So I'm concerned about that. So I don't know where they're going to dispose of it, landfill or whatever. So that's a big issue for me, just from trying to keep land, productive for everybody in the next generation. They also said that the processing, there would be some smell from the processing and that it could be mitigated. They didn't say how. And they didn't say to what extent that smell would be. And I don't know if the smell goes north to south or south to west, east to west. There's a lot of homes in that area and there are daycares and schools, et cetera. So that's a concern I have. Again, I don't have an answer. It's just a concern. Again, they said they could be mitigated, but they didn't say how or that they would. And there wasn't a requirement within the conditional permit saying they had to do that. That wasn't one of the conditions. They said at some point they may decide to sell on site, so they become an off-sale vendor. Certainly that's not a facility where you have people pulling up to a door and buying any kind of thing. It's warehousing. So I think that's a concern from the security standpoint. Delivery of the raw materials, we all know how much stress there right now on Normandale and Old Shakopee just because of all the construction. So again, it's just more traffic on roads that are already very, very busy. So that's also a concern. So those are my thoughts. So I wanted to share because I know eventually that will come to you and I'm hoping that you get more answers. Because I don't like the idea of after the fact trying to get compliance.
And agreed with you 100% on that. So thank you. Council, any questions? All right, Sharon, thanks very much for being with us this evening. Thank you. Matthew.
This is what I'd like to end today. Here.
Just the mic so I don't blow out some eardrums. My name is Matthew Hallett, for the record. Hallett, like pallet or mallet. I'm going to talk about the redevelopment of Nicollet Avenue. And there's a bunch, we can go tons of different directions. I saw what you guys said on October 27th. Tried to make some notes, lost them unfortunately, so I'm kind of ad-libbing a little bit, so bear with me. But I've been pretty consistent as to like what I have as a vision for Bloomington. And I think that mixed use paths, whether it be a 9 mile or a Nicollet, share many of the same problems. Nicollet Avenue right now as designed, if you look at a actually, how many of you hands are fairly up to date with Nicollet Avenue's development right now? Okay, pretty much everybody. So right now, if you look at what Richfield has proposed versus Bloomington, we don't even compare. Pale in comparisons in terms of safety, accessibility, focus on pedestrian over cars, all of it. And it integrates extremely well with what they've already been doing for almost, or I think they started in 2018. So, you know, seven-ish years. So I like to think of, you know, Bloomington as valuing or expressing its values and how it builds its infrastructure. That is like literally where, you know, money where your mouth is type of deal. When we say that we're going to do a mixed use trail, what we're saying is either we don't understand the issue very well, or kicking down the can down the road, or we're inviting conflict. So the proposal that I would like to see that wasn't really discussed in any of the plans presented to you, which is sad in my opinion, is that we should essentially copy what Richfield is doing for its public transit plan. And what it does is, if you're not familiar, I know roundabouts are really kind of controversial and that type of stuff. That's not exactly what I'm proposing. But if you even look at like some of the intersections, instead of paint, they literally press. They bring the sidewalks closer together, so your entrance is, as a pedestrian, is much shorter. They narrow the roads.
This actually enforces, without having a road sign, enforces the speed limit that you desire. So if Nicollet is supposed to follow the, citywide speed limit, which is supposed to be 25 miles an hour, the sign says something, but people obey the infrastructure much more effectively than the sign would say. So all these things together, I highly recommend taking a look at Richfield's plan. Because right now, if this was a competition, we are in last place. We aren't even close. And I believe in collaboration over competition, but a friendly competition, I think it would be healthy for us, especially just looking at our strengths. Our strengths is in our parks. We do a really good job of restoration. We do a really good job of maintaining our park infrastructure. There's green space. That's going to be where the canopies are and all that other stuff. Having dedicated trails in both directions ensures that you're going to see far more people use them, which I know, Councillor Rivas, not to call you out, but I know that you were apprehensive in kind of favoring basically cars, and seeing that when we do stuff like this and we end up with like what's that turn lane in the middle, and people use those lanes, and you weren't sure if you weren't seeing too many people use bike infrastructure and that type of stuff. The trick is that it has to be built first. You don't see it. You see crazy people like me have to endure. What we have is we have a 28 out of 100 rating for rideability in Bloomington. I use France Avenue to get here. It works. It's okay. But as soon as you get off of France Avenue, it's a bit of a nightmare every time. It doesn't matter how safe you are. It's entirely dependent on infrastructure. We don't have it here. So moving forward, what I'd like to see happen is, instead of a mixed use on both sides of Nicollet Avenue, I would love to see the same boulevard system and just switch it to being a directional split use single lane path. So you have bikes, you have a bike lane, you have a pedestrian lane, you have a boulevard, you have the road, and then you repeat the process on the other side. That fits, it works, it's tried and true. Richfield literally does this throughout their entire city and has end-to-end capacity for it. Any questions?
We are at time, Matthew, so I appreciate that. Councilmember D'Alessandro.
I think this is on. Okay. I just FYI, this is a Hennepin County plan.
Yes.
I want to burden Hennepin County with creating that continuity a little bit here. I mean, we don't know what Richfield is doing unless Hennepin County comes and tells us what they're doing across the entire corridor, right? So the only, not to be defensive, I agree with you, you know I do. But to say that, number one, could we please maybe get Hennepin County to come back to us and explain to us why they're not showing us the same plan that they're showing Richfield? I think that would be good to know. And then two, to make sure that you're advocating at the Hennepin County level for this continuity.
So this is actually where I need city council's help. It's not just about me. The city council, and behind the curb is your decision. It's deferred to locally. So the Hennepin County will design the road to specifications, just essentially kind of what they want. And even then, Richfield has actually redesigned parts of the road, but you are responsible for what happens behind the curb. They will listen to you. So the problem is that we aren't, basically what's happening is that either city council or staff either aren't aware of their power or aren't exercising it. And that's the problem.
Matthew, we're beyond time here, but I appreciate you coming in tonight. Thank you.
Jack.
Suzanne.
Oh, thank you very much, everybody. I really appreciate this. And I've never done anything like this before. So bear with me. I wrote everything down. So thank you. I've lived in Bloomington my entire life. I was here before Jefferson High School was even built. I bought my house almost 30 years ago, raised my family here, shoveled the walks, mowed the lawn, paid every single tax bill you ever sent me, no matter how high it climbed. Tonight, I'm pretty furious because you taxed me on my house. This year, my property taxes jumped 12%.
Suzanne, can I
Last
interrupt you
year.
for just 1 second?
I know you did.
We did have this conversation downstairs, if you recall. If we're going to talk about it on tonight's council meeting,
Oh, I have to do it at the council meeting?
we have set time aside at the council meeting.
All right.
And
Stop.
I would appreciate it, just because it gives you the opportunity to hear what others have to say as well. And then
Yeah.
we will be on topic. And we want to make sure that we use this time as efficiently as possible. So if we have time at another venue, we'd rather not do that here, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. I'm sitting back there going, oh crap, my stuff doesn't sound like theirs. So thank you. And I'll do it downstairs. Will I have time to?
Yes, absolutely. Everybody who wants to speak at the council meeting will have, again, 5
Do I
minutes.
have
And
to sign up.
no, just raise your hand. Raise your hand, we will call you up. So, all right.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you for understanding. Anyone else? I think we've got one person left in the room. And any, want to give a 4-minute talk on anything? I'm seeing no. Okay. With that, folks, we have gone through our list of speakers plus one, and we'll see Suzanne downstairs. I would entertain a motion to adjourn tonight.
So, second.
Motion and a second to adjourn our listening session. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carries 7-0. We will head on downstairs for the council meeting now, so we will see you there. Thanks.